If you're looking to buy a portable monitor, you're going to find literally hundreds of options with prices that range from as little as $60 to $500 or more. And you're probably wondering, what's the difference? What do you get if you pay $60 for a portable monitor? What do you get if you pay $500? Well, in this video, we're going to answer that. Hi, my name is Matt, and I've been reviewing consumer technology for the last 18 years. And recently, I've had the chance to try a whole bunch of portable monitors across a wide range of price points. So let's just dive right into it with an absolute budget beast, the $60 InnoView portable monitor. InnoView popped up on Amazon a few years ago, and to this day, it's basically impossible to find any concrete information about the company online. Their website is all stock images, and the phone number they have listed is disconnected.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
You might expect the monitor to suck, and it kinda does suck, but it's also fine. The first thing you're going to notice is the display case, which also doubles as a stand. It's made out of a sort of a vinyl material layered over what I think is cardboard. It's ugly, but with that said, it also does the job. The material feels tough and should stop any random sharp objects in your bag from damaging the display. The cover is also the stand and provides only 2 tilt options, so if you don't like them, you're out of luck. Image quality is where you really feel the monitor's budget price. The display has a contrast ratio of about 1000 to 1, which isn't great, and the color gamut covers about 64% of sRGB. That isn't a lot, in case you don't know what that number means. It looks dull and can seem dim if you use it in a bright room. But it's not all bad. It does have 1080p resolution, which is plenty sharp on its 15.6-inch display. You can connect over USB-C or full-sized HDMI, and the built-in speakers are strangely okay. I mean, they're not amazing, but you can at least listen to a podcast on them.
Too much. Is 2024 ultimately too big for Steam Deck?
So that is what $60 gets you. It's basic, but if you just need a small monitor to watch YouTube while you work or something to take with you on an occasional trip, this will do the trick. But what if you want to spend about $100? What does that get you? Well, you'll end up with something like this, the ViewSonic VA1655. Now this monitor retails for $109.99, and if you're thinking it doesn't look almost twice as expensive as the InnoView, I agree with you. It's still built entirely from plastics. It also lacks a case entirely, and instead ships with a fabric sleeve that, in my opinion, is actually less protective than the case that comes with the InnoView. But the ViewSonic gains one important feature, and that's a kickstand. This is something you'll really want to look for when shopping. A kickstand provides a range of tilt that you can change to suit your needs. It also allows use in vertical orientation. The ViewSonic also has a handy joystick for controlling the monitor's brightness and settings, which is nice, although portable monitors in this price range don't have that many settings to adjust in the first place. Now when it comes to image quality, the ViewSonic is basically tied with the InnoView. It's a bit dimmer actually and has a slightly better color gamut, but is still terrible at 67% of sRGB. Numbers aside, it looks dull and flat and basic. It is not going to impress anyone, and that is something to keep in mind. In my experience, the gain in image quality that you receive when you leap from the extreme budget $60 monitor to something that's around $100 is not that noticeable. To see real gains, you're going to need to spend more for something like this, the Arzorpa Z3FC, which rings up at about $190. Now the monitor I'm showing you here is actually the older Arzorpa Z1FC. I can't find the Z3FC at the moment. I think I might have sent it back to the company, but physically they are identical. They both have a 16.1-inch panel and 2560 by 1440 resolution, which looks very sharp. And that's not the only image quality gain. The Z3FC can also display 99% of the sRGB color gamut and reach maximum brightness of 384 nits, which is very bright for a portable monitor. The refresh rate is improved to 180 Hz, which makes it a better option for gamers, though unfortunately you don't get support for AMD FreeSync or NVIDIA G-Sync, both of which are rare to find on portable displays. Still, it looks way more vivid and detailed than the monitors that I had mentioned earlier. The build quality is a serious step up too. The Z3FC has an aluminum shell that of course looks and feels more luxurious and rigid than the plastics used by the less expensive monitors. This monitor has a kickstand as well, although it is kind of flimsy, and it ships with a sleeve that still feels pretty thin, but at least looks nicer than the one that shipped with the ViewSonic. Now the Arzorpa Z3FC is decent and a big improvement over the less expensive displays, but what if you got some even more money and you want to spend it on something that really feels professional and nice? Well, then you might look at the HP Series 5 Pro 514PN, which will set you back about $300. And the reason why it's more expensive is obvious from the moment you lay hands on it. This 14-inch monitor has a high-quality aluminum chassis with smooth edges, and while I don't know the details of the type of aluminum used here, it definitely feels nicer than on the Arzorpa. Like, this thing is rock solid. You really got to work on this thing to make it flex or bend at all. The monitor has a kickstand, but it takes things a few steps further here. The kickstand is aluminum and it spans almost the entire width of the display, which means the monitor feels extremely stable on your desk. Seriously, it's almost impossible to tip this thing over. Oh, and another neat detail is the cover, which just attaches magnetically. You can just throw it on the display. And the image quality is incredible. This thing has a 14.3-inch display with a 16:10 aspect ratio and 2560x16 resolution, which is incredibly sharp. It also has an excellent IPS black panel with a contrast ratio boosted to almost 2000:1, which is about as good as it gets for an IPS monitor. The color gamut spans 100% of sRGB, 100% of Adobe RGB, and 99% of DCI-P3, which is just insane. The monitor's color is both vivid and accurate, way better than the earlier monitors I showed. The only downside here is the refresh rate, which remains at 60 Hz, not great for a $300 monitor. It also drops HDMI and relies entirely on USB-C, which might disappoint some people. Other than that, it is fantastic. Now, if you are looking in this price range and you want a display that is better for gaming, you might take a look at OLED monitors like, say, the UPerfect 156P. I don't have a monitor like that right now to show you, but I've reviewed some in the past, and they do offer an amazing contrast ratio and great color performance, although the HP does beat most OLED panels in that regard, at least portable monitors. Just keep in mind that when you buy one of those monitors, you are paying mostly for the OLED panel, so the build quality won't be much better than the Arzorpa Z3 FC that you saw earlier. But let's say you've got a wad of cash burning a hole in your pocket, you want OLED, and you don't want to compromise on features or build quality. In that case, let me introduce you to the $500 VX1655 4K OLED. Well, I would introduce you to it, except I reviewed it a few months ago and I already sent it back to the company, so I don't have it anymore. But on the screen, you're going to see some examples from my review. That review, as well as my others, is published on PC World, and I'll have links to that in the description. For now, I'm just going to show you a little bit of the review on screen. Let me make a little room here. Excuse me a moment. Okay. I think that should probably about do it. All you really need to know is the ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED is an awesome monitor. It really doesn't have any downside except for the price. The $500 price point is going to definitely put off a lot of people, and honestly, a lot of people don't need a monitor that good, especially in a portable form factor. But if you want performance, you don't really mind the cost, the ViewSonic VX1655 4K OLED is the way to go. So that is our trip through the world of portable monitors from $60 to $500. If you feel like it was helpful, of course, like the video, and subscribe would be awesome. The algorithm in me always appreciates it. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.